When someone disrespects you, most people react the same way. They defend themselves, raise their voice, or try to win the argument. But here's the truth. The moment you react emotionally, you hand them your power. And in a world full of loud opinions and cheap shots, the strongest person in the room is never the one who talks the most. It's the one who controls the tone of the conversation. Stoic philosophy teaches this clearly. You cannot control what they say, but you can control how you respond. And your response is where your strength is revealed. A calm voice, a steady posture, a well-chosen sentence can silence arrogance faster than any confrontation. Today, you're going to learn 7 smart Stoic responses. Simple, sharp, and devastatingly effective. Use them, and you won't just protect your dignity. You'll command quiet, respect, and complete control of the moment. Take a breath. Sit tall. Let's begin. 1. The composed pause. I'll answer when you're done speaking. There's a particular kind of disrespect that stings more than any insult. Being talked over. It's subtle but powerful. Someone decides their voice matters more than yours. Most people react immediately. They interrupt back, raise their tone, or rush to defend their point. But that reaction only proves one thing: the other person successfully pulled you into their tempo. A Stoic never lets someone else dictate the tempo. When someone cuts you off, the smartest response isn't louder words. It's controlled stillness. A slow inhale, a steady expression, a pause long enough for the room to notice the imbalance. Then, when they finally stop, you calmly say, "I'll answer when you're done speaking." This sentence does 3 things at once. It exposes their rudeness without attacking them. It reclaims control of the conversation, and it signals that you will participate only in a respectful, rational exchange. People underestimate how powerful a pause is. Silence forces the other person to confront the awkwardness of their own behavior. It's a mirror they can't escape. Even the most dominant personalities feel it. They lose momentum because you refuse to fuel the chaos. Consider a workplace example. A team meeting where someone jumps over your sentence. Instead of competing for volume, imagine holding eye contact, waiting calmly, letting them finish their entire outburst. The room goes quiet. Then you say the line, firm but not hostile. Suddenly, the power dynamic shifts. You're no longer the one being interrupted. You're the one defining the rules of communication. Stoic philosophy teaches that dignity is maintained not by controlling others, but by controlling your own reactions. Marcus Aurelius wrote about staying unmoved by the behavior of others, and this technique embodies that lesson. The pause is your fortress. The sentence is your boundary. To use it effectively, keep these principles in mind. 1. Keep your tone flat and steady. Any anger turns it into a fight. Calmness turns it into authority. 2. Keep your posture open. Relax your shoulders. Don't lean back too far or forward too aggressively. Neutral is power. 3. Hold the silence without fear. Most people are terrified of silence. Stoic composure makes them feel small without you saying a single offensive word. 4. Make them finish what they started. You're not punishing them. You're refusing to be dragged into emotional noise. This response is not about winning. It's about teaching people how to treat you. It's about establishing a standard. If you want my input, respect my voice. And ironically, once you master this pause, you won't need to raise your voice again. People will learn very quickly that interrupting you has consequences, not through anger, but through quiet, disciplined authority. That is what silences a room. That is what earns respect without demanding it. 2. The boundary line. I don't talk to people who use that tone. There are moments when someone isn't just disagreeing with you, they're trying to belittle you. Maybe it's the sarcastic edge in their voice. Maybe it's the passive-aggressive sigh. Maybe it's that subtle mockery people use when they want to feel superior without saying anything directly. Most people either snap back or stay quiet to avoid conflict, but both reactions give away power. A Stoic does something different. They draw a clean, unshakable boundary. When someone speaks to you with disrespect, you don't explain yourself. You don't justify your feelings. You don't list reasons why their tone is inappropriate. You simply state, "I don't talk to people who use that tone." This single sentence accomplishes more than a 5-minute argument ever could. It names the behavior. It sets the standard, and it forces the other person to decide whether they want a conversation or conflict. The reason this works so effectively is simple. People who rely on disrespect expect you to either react emotionally or back down. They're prepared for both. What they're not prepared for is calm accountability. When you refuse to match their tone, when you stay composed, they have nothing to push against. Their strategy collapses. Imagine a friend making a joke at your expense. The room laughs. You feel that familiar sting in your chest. Most people either laugh along to avoid awkwardness or fire back with something harsher. But you breathe. You look at them steadily, and you say the line, slow and controlled. Instant shift. The joke no longer lands. The room reorients. Everyone suddenly sees who crossed the line, and it wasn't you. Stoic philosophy emphasizes separating the person from the behavior. You're not attacking them. You're addressing the tone they chose. That's why this response is powerful, yet clean. It's not emotional punishment. It's principled communication. To use this boundary flawlessly, keep these elements in mind. 1. Deliver it like a fact, not a threat. No sharp tone, no sarcasm, just clarity. When you sound certain, people feel the weight of the standard you're setting. 2. Don't follow it with explanations. The moment you justify a boundary, it stops being a boundary and becomes a negotiation. 3. Maintain steady eye contact for 1 breath. Not a glare, just presence. It reinforces that you're not afraid of confrontation, only uninterested in disrespect. 4. Be ready to walk away. A boundary without action is just a wish. If they continue, end the conversation calmly and immediately. Silence and distance will speak for you. 5. Never mirror their tone. Stoic control means you refuse to let someone pull you down to their level. Your composure is the reminder of who's actually in control. The deeper truth is this: disrespect thrives where there are no consequences. When you hold firm to this boundary, you're teaching others how to interact with you, and you're teaching yourself something even more important. You don't tolerate energy that poisons your peace. You don't bend your dignity to keep the conversation going. You choose respect over approval. And once people see you're serious about that, your presence alone becomes a warning. Speak to me with respect, or don't speak to me at all. 3. The redirect. Let's stick to the point. Some people don't argue to understand. They argue to win. They dodge the real issue, twist your words, pull you into side topics, or attack your character instead of addressing the conversation. This is how conflicts spiral. This is how simple discussions turn into emotional battles. And most people fall for it because they feel the need to defend themselves, their intelligence, or their character. A Stoic doesn't play that game. When someone tries to derail the conversation, you use one clean, powerful response. Let's stick to the point. This sentence is a reset button. It cuts through chaos, redirects attention, and exposes any attempt to manipulate the direction of the discussion. It also removes the emotional hooks they're trying to use to bait you. Imagine someone saying, "You always do this. You never listen," when the real topic is a specific disagreement. Most people would defend themselves against the exaggeration. "That's not true, I don't always." And suddenly the conversation shifts away from the original issue. But you don't follow that detour. You breathe. You stay calm. and you say, "Let's stick to the point." Instantly, the dynamic changes. They no longer control the direction. You do. This response works because it prevents emotional escalation. It tells the other person that you're unwilling to wander into drama, accusations, or irrelevant territory. You're here for clarity, not chaos. And that clarity is something most people are not prepared to face. Stoic philosophy teaches the discipline of staying anchored in what matters. When someone tries to drag you into emotional waters, you stay on the shore. You stay grounded in logic, truth, and self-control. Here's how to apply this response with maximum effect. 1. Say it slowly, not sharply. Fast speech sounds defensive. Slow speech sounds deliberate and grounded. 2. Keep your face neutral. No smirk, no frown, just calm presence. It reinforces that you're focused, not triggered. 3. Repeat the phrase if needed. Some people will try again. Simply repeat, "Let's stick to the point." Calm repetition breaks their momentum and forces them to confront the actual issue. 4. Identify the original point in one sentence. After redirecting, say the core issue clearly. The point is whether we agreed on the deadline. You bring the conversation back to solid ground. 5. Don't reward dramatic tactics. If they continue attacking your character or shifting topics, you don't follow. You stay steady. The person trying to create chaos eventually looks unreasonable, not you. Consider a workplace example. A co-worker misses a deadline and says, "Well, maybe if you weren't so controlling." Most people would react to the insult, but you don't. You reply, "Let's stick to the point, the deadline." Suddenly, there's nowhere left for them to hide. This is the essence of Stoic verbal strategy. You remove the emotional fuel and force reality back into the room. People who thrive on drama hate clarity. People who respect truth appreciate it. Either way, you win, because you keep your power. At its core, this response is a declaration. I won't be pulled into confusion. I choose clarity. And clarity silences chaos every single time. 4. The neutral mirror. Is that supposed to help? There's a special kind of disrespect people use when they want to hurt you without taking responsibility for it. Sarcasm, passive-aggressive jabs, jokes that are just jokes, or comments disguised as honesty. These are the weapons of someone who wants to sting you while keeping their hands clean. If you react emotionally, they'll say you're sensitive. If you ignore it, they'll keep doing it. A Stoic uses a different technique. A verbal mirror. When someone makes a cutting remark, you don't attack them back. You don't defend yourself. You simply tilt your head slightly, stay calm, and ask, "Is that supposed to help?" That sentence is psychological kryptonite. It flips the spotlight entirely onto them. Suddenly, they must explain their intention. Suddenly, they must justify their tone. Most people who use passive aggression don't expect to be confronted with clarity. They expect confusion. They expect silence. They expect you to swallow the discomfort. When you calmly ask this question, you expose the truth. Their comment wasn't constructive, wasn't helpful, and wasn't meaningful. Picture this. A friend says, "Wow, you really messed that up, didn't you?" With that smug half-smile. Most people fire back with defensiveness or match the sarcasm. But you breathe, you stay steady, and you ask, "Is that supposed to help?" Watch their face. Watch how the smirk disappears. Because now they must defend the intention behind their words, something they rarely think about. Stoic philosophy teaches control of reaction, not control of the other person. You don't punish, you don't shame, you simply present them with a mirror. Whether they like what they see is not your problem. That's their internal struggle. This technique works best when you apply it with precision. 1. Keep your tone flat, almost gentle. If you sound offended, they win. If you sound calm, they lose their footing. 2. Hold steady eye contact for 1 moment. Not challenging, grounding. It communicates that you're not shaken. 3. Don't elaborate after asking. Ask the question, then wait. Silence will do the rest. 4. If they claim it was a joke, don't smile. Simply respond. A helpful joke would sound different. This gives no emotional reward. 5. Bring the conversation back to purpose. If they scramble, stay neutral. If there's something important you want to discuss, say it clearly. This reinforces your standard for respectful communication. Let's look at another example. A co-worker mutters, "Some people just can't handle simple tasks." You don't match the bitterness. You don't defend your competence. You turn to them and ask, "Is that supposed to help?" Now the dynamic shifts. Their behavior is on trial, not your worth. This question is powerful because it exposes what passive aggression tries to hide. It doesn't escalate the situation. It elevates it. It shows emotional adulthood. It shows strength without aggression. And most importantly, it communicates a boundary. If you want my attention, bring clarity, not spite. When you respond like this, you stop being a target. You become a mirror. And very few people can stand the reflection of their own pettiness. That's why this line silences them, not through force, but through truth. 5. The accountability move. Explain what you mean by that. Some people attack indirectly. They won't insult you outright. Instead, they drop vague comments, half-truths, and shadowy accusations. It's a strategy built on one goal: keep you confused. Because confused people defend themselves. Confused people over-explain. Confused people look guilty even when they're not. And that's exactly what manipulators want. Your reaction, not your clarity. A Stoic doesn't give them that satisfaction. When someone throws out a vague jab like, "You've changed," everyone thinks that, or "You know what you did." You don't explain a thing. You don't apologize for something undefined. You don't walk into a trap you can't see. You simply respond with calm, sharp precision. Explain what you mean by that. This sentence is a spotlight. It forces their vague attack into the open. It demands clarity, and clarity is the enemy of manipulation. Manipulative people rely on implication, not evidence. They rely on tone, not truth. They rely on emotional reaction, not logic. That's why this line hits so hard. It pulls them out of the shadows and into direct accountability. Imagine a co-worker saying, "Well, some of us actually care about the project," expecting you to get defensive. Most people would answer, "What's that supposed to mean?" Or "I care too." But you look at them, steady and expressionless, and say, "Explain what you mean by that." Watch what happens next. They freeze. Their confidence shrinks. They stumble over words because they never expected to be asked for clarity. They expected emotion, not composure. This technique works because it shifts the burden of proof. They made the claim. They carry the responsibility to justify it. Stoic philosophy centers on truth, clarity, and self-control. You're not attacking them. You're not escalating. You're simply requesting information, which is the one thing manipulative behavior cannot survive. You're exposing fog with light. To use this line with maximum impact, remember these guidelines. 1. Keep your tone flat and professional. Neutrality is power. The calmer you sound, the more pressure they feel. 2. Ask the question once, then wait. Silence after a request for clarification is devastating. It forces them into honesty or retreat. 3. Don't let them pivot. If they dodge with, "You know what I mean," just repeat calmly, "No, explain what you mean." Every deflection makes them look more guilty, not you. 4. Keep your body language grounded. Feet planted, shoulders relaxed, eyes steady. You're not confronting. you're anchoring. 5. Don't defend yourself before clarity exists. Stoics don't fight shadows. You respond only to concrete statements. Here's a real-world example. A relative says, "You've always been the difficult one." Most people argue, but you say, "Explain what you mean by difficult." Now they must deliver details, something most people using guilt tactics don't actually have. This line is a filter. People who speak with honesty will answer you clearly. People who rely on manipulation will collapse under their own vagueness, and the message you send is unmistakable. If you choose to talk to me, choose clarity. If not, the conversation ends here. That's Stoic control. That's emotional precision. That's how you silence chaos without raising your voice. 6. The ownership response. That's your opinion, not my reality. There is a moment in every argument, every conflict, every tense conversation where the other person stops discussing the issue and starts attacking you. They question your character. They label you unfairly. They say things like, "You're selfish," "You're dramatic," "You're overreacting," or "You always make things worse." These statements are not facts. They are emotional weapons. And most people take the bait. They fight back. They defend themselves. They try to prove the other person wrong. But the more you defend your identity, the more you give the other person control over it. A Stoic never does that. When someone tries to define you with their frustration, insecurity, or projection, you respond with a line that cuts the cord instantly. That's your opinion, not my reality. This sentence is a shield. It rejects the label without aggression. It acknowledges their view without absorbing it. It reminds them, and yourself, that someone's emotional narrative does not become your truth. Most people speak from impulse, not insight. They say hurtful things because they're overwhelmed, threatened, or unable to handle their own emotions. When you accept their words as truth, you give their instability a home inside your mind. But when you draw this line between their opinion and your identity, you remain grounded in who you are, not who they want you to be. Imagine someone saying, "You're too sensitive." Most people respond, "No, I'm not. You're just rude." But the Stoic response? You look at them calmly and say, "That's your opinion, not my reality." Suddenly, the argument doesn't move forward the way they expected. Their attempt to destabilize you fails. You didn't absorb their words. You didn't accept the identity they tried to place on you. You stood firm, not with aggression, but with clarity. This line is powerful because it does something subtle. It separates your self-worth from their emotional state. You refuse to let their internal storm wash into your internal world. To use this technique with maximum strength, follow these principles. 1. Keep your voice calm and slightly slower than normal. Speed means you're shaken. Calm pace means you're in control. 2. Don't provide a counter-argument. You're not defending your identity, you're protecting it. 3. Don't seek approval. Your tone should say, "Believe what you want. I know who I am." 4. Hold neutral eye contact for one breath. Not challenging, not submissive. Simply present. 5. Don't repeat the sentence multiple times. Once is enough. Repetition can sound defensive. Consider a personal example. A partner says, "You're impossible to deal with." Most people collapse or explode. But you reply, steady, "That's your opinion, not my reality." Now the burden shifts. If they want to continue the conversation, they must drop the labels and speak with clarity. If they don't, the conversation doesn't deserve your energy. Stoicism teaches that no one can harm your inner self unless you grant them permission. This line is the embodiment of that wisdom. You acknowledge their right to feel something, but you refuse to let that feeling define you. And the message beneath your calm delivery becomes unmistakable. You don't get to decide who I am. I do. That is ownership, That is dignity. And that is how you silence false judgments without raising your voice. 7. The silent stand. The 3-second pause. That says everything. There is a moment in every confrontation where words stop being useful. Maybe the other person is raising their voice. Maybe they're trying to provoke you. Maybe they're repeating the same accusations, hoping you'll finally snap. In these moments, anything you say becomes fuel. Any reaction becomes evidence. Any defense becomes a victory for them. A Stoic chooses something far more powerful. Silence, with presence. Not avoidance, not fear, not retreat. But a deliberate, disciplined stillness that sends a message stronger than any comeback. The technique is simple. You hold eye contact for 3 seconds. You breathe slowly. You say nothing. This is the silent stand, and it is one of the most devastating psychological responses you can deploy. Why does it work? Because most arguments depend on your participation. Anger needs a counter-reaction. Manipulation needs a response. Disrespect needs an emotional payoff. When you refuse to feed the fire dies. Your silence becomes a wall they cannot climb. Picture this. Someone throws an insult, sharp, loud, exaggerated. They expect you to fight back. They want the drama, the chaos, the escalation. Instead, you simply look at them. Calm face, slow breath, no flinch, no sarcasm, no defensive posture. Just quiet, grounded presence. Watch how quickly their energy collapses. Watch how their confidence shrinks. Watch how the room shifts toward you, not them. Because silence doesn't just remove your reaction, it reveals theirs. Stoic philosophy views silence as a form of mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind must remain untouched, calm, unshaken. This technique is the physical expression of that teaching. You refuse to be moved by noise. To execute the silent stand with maximum effect, use these principles. 1. Control your breathing. 1 slow inhale through the nose. 1 slow exhale. This anchors your presence and prevents emotional hijack. 2. Relax your posture. No crossed arms, no clenched jaw. Relaxed means unthreatened, and unthreatened is intimidating. 3. Keep your expression neutral, not bored, not amused, not angry. Neutral is power because it reveals nothing. 4. No fidgeting, no eye rolling, no sighing. Even small reactions give them something to attack. Stillness gives them nothing. 5. Wait exactly 3 seconds. Less feels weak, more feels performative. 3 seconds is perfect, long enough to disrupt their momentum, short enough to remain natural. After those 3 seconds, you can choose one of 2 paths. Path A. End the conversation calmly. I'm not continuing this while you're disrespectful. Then walk away without rushing. Path B. Redirect with clarity. If you want a real conversation, speak to me respectfully. Neither choice reinforces the same truth. Your peace is not available for negotiation. Consider a real-life example. A coworker snaps, "You never listen." Instead of defending yourself, you hold the silent stand. 3 seconds. Stillness. Presence. They begin to feel the weight of their own outburst. They soften, they stumble, they recalibrate. Because you didn't join their emotional storm, you made them stand alone in it. Silence used correctly is not weakness. It is maturity. It is command. It is evidence of a mind that refuses to be dragged into chaos. And the unspoken message beneath your calm gaze is this: your behavior does not control me. My reaction does. That truth alone is enough to silence anyone. Every response you learned in this video has one purpose: to return your power back to where it belongs, in your hands. Not in the hands of the loudest person in the room, not in the hands of someone trying to provoke you, and not in the hands of anyone who mistakes your calm for weakness. Stoic communication isn't about winning arguments. It's about mastering yourself so deeply that no insult, no tone, no manipulation can pull you off center. Remember this: people lose control the moment they react. People gain control the moment they choose how to respond. Whether it's the composed pause, the boundary line, the redirect, the neutral mirror, the accountability move, the ownership response, or the silent stand, each one rewrites the rules of engagement. You no longer chase validation. You no longer defend your worth. You no longer let disrespect set the rhythm of the conversation. You speak only with clarity, purpose, and dignity. And when others see that their usual tactics don't work on you, something shifts. They stop testing you. They start respecting you. Your silence, your posture, your tone. They all say what words never could. You cannot be shaken. If you found strength in these Stoic responses, let me know in the comments which one you'll use first. And if you want more content on Stoic self-mastery, communication, and inner discipline, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Walk forward with calm authority. You don't need to speak loudly to be heard.